So, there's been an announcement on the Tower Defense Simulator Discord with this, where Star Wars tweeting out, or sorry, not tweeting out, putting a message on the announcement saying, "Take your seat, the show is starting soon, prepare for this drama with the Sledger Tower now on sale for a limited time." So, the developers have reintroduced the Sledger Game Pass for 749 Robux, be the Frost Invasion or buy the event tower here, on sale for a limited time only, so they haven't updated the description of it. And if I were to hazard a guess, the Sledger isn't available in the in-game store, meaning that you're not able to gift out the Sledger Tower. No, never mind. The developers have actually added the Sledger Tower to the in-game store. They've made it prominent here alongside the engineer, so you can actually gift the Sledger Tower to other players if they don't have the Sledger Tower. The developers have also seemingly removed the other event towers that appeared in the in-game store, because previously when the Frost Mode update was released, there were still some lingering over towers from like the previous event tower sales, so that's namely the Archer, the Commando, the Warlock Tower, and another tower, I think, maybe the Slasher Tower, that you could actually gift out to the players, but you couldn't buy it for yourself, meaning that if you wanted these towers, the best thing to do was try and convince someone to gift it to you while you gifted them it, so that no one losed out on Robux, because you weren't able to buy the Game Pass directly, but the developers have now fixed that loophole. Interestingly enough, the developers haven't said for how long the Sledger is going to go on sale for. If the previous sales are anything to go by, maybe take the Sledger off sale by about February 2026. So, you know, you have plenty of time to get the Sledger Tower, and I do think it's going to be around after Christmas. So certainly if you're waiting for Christmas money to hit the Roblox bank account, then I think you're fine. As for past sales of the Sledger Tower, in December 2024 it was on sale for the same price as it is right now, 749 Robux, but also during 2024 there was an August sale which meant that it went for 649 Robux. In December 2023 it went for 600 Robux, the same in May 2022. And during the Frost Invasion event, the Sledger Tower went for 500 Robux. So this new price of 749 Robux is more expensive than we've seen previously, with the exception of last year at Christmas, but the Sledger Tower seemingly is getting more expensive every year, and it always seemingly goes on sale around Christmas time every year as well. This is to say that if you were to buy the Sledger Tower in a future sale, it might be cheaper than this. I know for some event towers it's fluctuated in their price to the point where if you've waited for a certain sale for it to be cheaper, then you may have gotten the tower for a better price. The tower I'm thinking of, by the way, is the Gladiator Tower, where in like the period between 2020 and 2023, the Gladiator was a very popular tower to sell because it was quite a good tower, and its price always fluctuated. So initially in 2021 it was for 500 Robux, then it went off sale, then 500 Robux, then 700 Robux in 2022, then in 2023 it went for 600 Robux. So perhaps if you were to wait for the Sledger Tower to go on sale again, it may have decreased in price to 699 Robux, but additionally it may have also increased to a Robux price of 799 Robux. You can't really predict these things. And then for future context, in 2024 the Gladiator went on sale for 650 Robux, then in 2024 it went back down to 600 Robux again, so you can see how volatile the price is. Now, this does lead me on to the possibility of a Christmas sale this year, and I do think that this is quite likely because in the past they've always held Christmas sales. So, for example, during 2024, the Chiromancer was on sale, even though I think the Chiromancer was actually a tower that you got from the event. But the Snowballer was 35% off, also that you could get from the event, but it was 161 Robux rather than 249 Robux. The Elementalist was actually the event tower I was thinking of. The Chiromancer was a returning event tower that costed 699 Robux. The Elementalist was on sale from 799 Robux down to 599 Robux. The Crook Boss was 25% off, Turret 25% off, Mortar 25% off, Pursuit 30% off, the Mercenary Base 25% off, Cowboy 25% off, Warden 30% off, Engineer 30% off, Gas and Gun 30% off, VIP 25% off. Operation Ice premium track changed from 499 to 374 Robux. Currencies received 15% off as well, which means that during Christmas I do expect a lot of the things in Tower Defense Simulator to go on sale, not least the game passes but more certainly the premium track is going to probably get 25% off or even 15% off, and the currencies are going to get some percentage off as well. The reason why I think this is that during the Black Friday sale, the Game Passes, they also got very similar discounts, but additionally the Battle Pass, the Null and Void Battle Pass, received something similar. It was 15% off rather than 25% off, but the Premium Pass was cheaper this year compared to last year, only 399 Robux. So that does lead me to believe that if there's going to be a Battle Pass for this upcoming Christmas event, which it always likely is the case since it is a money spinner for the developers, then perhaps if you want the premium track items for a cheap cost, maybe wait until Christmas until the developers actually discount it, or at least wait until Christmas to see if the developers discount it. They may not this year. Past indications don't predict the future entirely. It doesn't make it certain, but it makes it very likely that there's going to be a sale for the ranks, firstly, because all the ranks were also discounted by the Black Friday event, but also the premium track. But certainly I do expect other towers to come back on sale, because like during the Null and Void event there were about 6 different event towers that were put back on sale. Perhaps the Frost Blaster goes back on sale, or the Chiromancer, as was the case last year, or maybe the Elementalist or the Snowballer. The Snowballer not so much. It is an event tower, yes, but it is an easy mode event tower. I'm not sure if the Halipunk has ever returned. Well, it actually did for the Null and Void event actually, so the Snowballer might return, but more likely I think the Elementalist will return. As for the Elf Camp, interestingly enough, people are demanding, nay begging, for a rework for the Elf Camp so that it's updated with, like, because everything has power crept in recent years, so that the Elf Camp has been left behind. But it's up to the developer's whim onto whether the Elf Camp is going to be buffed. But if it is going to be buffed, and that is a massive if, I do expect a sale for the Elf Camp during the event, but again, that's a massive if. Do bear in mind that the Elf Camp was on sale 2 years ago on the 25th of December 2023, so it's been 2 years since its sale, whereas other event sales have had much more recent sales. Although I anticipate that the Frost Blaster is probably going to get a sale, given the fact that it did get a recent rework on the 9th of July 2025, but it didn't go on sale then, so Frost Blaster probably overdue a sale based on current reworks. And I did mention the Gladiator previously having a sale from 2019 for every year up until 2024. 2025 has so far been the only year when the Gladiator has not received a sale. However, I don't think that the Gladiator is going to get a sale in this Christmas update, and the reason for that is because we know that a Gladiator rework is coming soon. It's been teased by Below Natural. Below Natural teased this on the 22nd of October 2022, saying real Gladiator rework looking at the fake Gladiator rework. This is an image posted by someone claiming for it to be the Gladiator rework. That's actually fake, and this is the real Gladiator rework. So until the Gladiator actually gets its rework, I don't think the developers are going to sell the Gladiator Game Pass, because they know that after they rework the Gladiator, they can charge a premium for this new Gladiator, maybe even have the first ever 1000 Robux event tower. Now then, as for the image that Star Wars has posted, this apparently is a leak for the upcoming Final Act event, aka the Christmas 2025 event or the Winter 2025 event. So as mentioned previously, this appears to take place in Solar Theatres, which is the same theatre that the Lunar Overture Act 1, Act 2 and Act 3 were played out in. Act 3 is non-canon, but Act 1 and Act 2 are still canon to Tower Defense Simulator, so it looks like a very similar setting. And in fact, it is such a similar setting that we see an element of Night 3 in this image. So you can see here, this is a spotlight. The spotlight was used as part of the Lunar Overture event Part 3 to actually attack the left and right hands. It deals a 10,000 DPS to these enemies. Now, this isn't canon to Tower Defense Simulator anymore, but it would be interesting to see if the left hand and the right hand return. We know that lefty and righty are part of the lore in Tower Defense Simulator now, because the narrator refers to them in the previous events, the Null and Void events, so it would be very interesting to see if this were to return, this feature were to return, and the left and right hands were to return, because it was a pretty unique feature, actually, of the Lunar Overture event, in that you weren't able to use towers to attack the left and right hands, but you were able to use a spotlight to deal 10,000 DPS to them. Although nowadays we have the Gatling gun, which means that if this similar feature were to be added to Tower Defense Simulator, the Gatling gun, I could really foresee being a very useful weapon to be used during the Final Act event to attack the hands, unless the developers were to ban the Gatling gun, which they can do through a modifier, which, mind you, they did use for the Hexscape event because it was too easy with the Gatling gun, so they decided to ban it. Also, the Gatling gun, interestingly, was banned during the Please Donate event. I forgot about that. as well. Now interestingly, this teaser is called the spectator teaser.png, so perhaps the image that we see here is of a spectator, even though here it implicates that the spectator is an enemy that we may see in this event. We also see other spectators here in black rather than the brass that the spectator here is seen, and also the spectator here has binoculars, I guess, to see the action, whereas these enemies don't. Also, perhaps, I've seen some speculation that because this looks very brass-like, that this is going to be a LED enemy, and because these enemies are more black, or, well, dark, they are more hidden-like, so these are going to be hidden spectators, whereas this is going to be a LED spectator. I think in the previous event, there were a couple of enemies that were LED, or were given the LED detection in Tower Defense Simulator, so the developers have actually now put LED enemies in Tower Defense Simulator for events, so it's not out of the realm for this to be a LED enemy now. Also, I'd like to point out that the cufflinks that are shown off here look very similar to the narrator. I'm just saying. But if this is a rehash of Act 3 from the Lunar Overture event, which I suspect it might be, especially with this portal in the background, so a portal into Solar Theatres, and the fact that Solar Theatres has been mentioned previously, it does mean that there could be a return for, well, not multi-lane paths, that was used for previous events, but a path for the Defend Center-like ability maps. Has anyone noticed that after the great finale, Defend the Center maps have fell out of fashion? This was the last Defend the Center map to be added to Tower Defense Simulator. Perhaps in the final act, there will be a return of these types of maps, which I don't know if people like that. I mean, the developers are aware of comments from people saying that they prefer these types of maps, but whether that's just a few vocal people on the Discord or it's a community thing, who knows? But yes, it's probably no coincidence that it's only a week left until the Christmas event update lands in Tower Defense Simulator, it being released on the 17th of December, almost exactly 7 days after this announcement's been made. It's actually 6 days, 23 hours, and 36 minutes. So I guess in lieu of an actual update today, the developers have decided to give us a leak to talk about, so that's very cool.